Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do some code, and we're going to look at a new crate called either. So let's start with cargo add either. You might say either. I don't know what the correct pronunciation is. I always say either. So let's go for main, and we want to use either double colon, and we want either, and these are the two things which do the clever stuff, which is left and right. We'll also use standard IO because we're going to take in some user input, and then we're going to make a decision as to which function we will use, or which arm of the function we will use, based on the left or the right of either. So just to give that some context, we'll ask for some user input. If they say that their chosen number, their password, is 1234, that will go to the left, which will be a U32. If they type in password 123, that will get passed as text, which will then go to the right arm of either. All will become clear, so let's just create main just to stop it complaining. Yeah, that's fine. Right, okay. So we're going to create a function called read input, which will get the user's password. I just thought I could also, I'm not going to do it, but we could also make it asterisk out. So we're going to have a U32, or, so that's the left. So it's either going to be U32 or string. Okay, so we just want to print a message to say, yeah, enter number or text. And we've got the red kind of error warning there because we need to return either a U32 or a string. So let's create a variable for input. So it needs to be mutable. And that can be a string. New. Okay, so far so good. I'm just going to toggle the inlay hints. I don't know whether they're a good thing or bad thing, especially for tutorials, but okay, IO, we're going to take the standard input, and then we want to read that read line. Yeah, there it is. Into the buffer, and the buffer is the mutable input. So some mut input, and then we'll just do we'll do an expect as well, just to satisfy it. Failed to read. Okay, so far so good. Right, let's just formatted it. Oh, when it formatted, it turned back on inlay hints as well. There we go. Right. So on line 5, that's the variable to store our input. And then we read the standard input into that variable. And then we need to match it. So match input. We need to trim it just in case there's any white space. Then we want to pass it into I32 with the turbo. It's turbo fish, yeah. So the OK branch, and we'll just call the temporary variable number. And if it's a number and it's OK, we then say use the left. So by specifying the left, pass back a number, and then it should go and pass that on to the left arm of then we need to deal with the right hand side, or the right hand option. So it's an enum, so yeah, the right hand option. Now we'll just take the input and we'll trim it and convert it to a string. Could do to owned, I think, but to string is a bit more easy. It's a bit more easier for others to read. What's wrong there? Yeah, I did wonder about that. But I have some reference notes, but caps lock. Go, right. That's better. So that's a function which takes in some text, then we match it. If we can successfully pass it as a U32, we return it, and that's the left branch. Anything else, we will return as a string. So if it was 123x, it would end up causing the error because you can't pass 123x to a U32. So then it gets returned as a string. Okay. So this is where we'll actually use the function. So we'll say let user input equal read input. And now we need to do something with it. So we'll do match user input. And if it matches against the left, number. Then we'll just print number, and we just say and then we deal with the right hand side, which will be right. And print back this. Don't need to do that, let's just copy that. So lazy with typing. You entered text. Change that to text. Wow, that looks so good. There's no errors at all there. So yeah, that won't work there because it's kind of. I need to exit this. Cargo run. Okay, enter a number or text. So 123. You entered a number. 123x. You entered text. So I'm still learning this myself. So yeah, please forgive me if I've explained any of this badly. But at least, hopefully, I've introduced you to the idea that at runtime, you can dynamically run a function or an arm of a match based on um, based based on whether you're passing in the left or the right of either. I want to practice with this some more because I understand this tutorial, or I understand this code, which I've cobbled together from the cargo documentation and with some additional bits and pieces from ChatGPT. I understand the concept, but if somebody asks me to write this from scratch, then I will probably need to come back and look at this and then substitute in the values and then just modify the variable names, which I think is probably how most of us work when we're doing something a bit new or different. So yeah, either. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been interesting, even if it's not being an expert. The whole channel is called Learning Rust. I've been learning Rust for just over 12 months. In fits and starts, I must admit, because I've got sidetracked with various other things. But this year I'm trying to create videos every 2 days, really. So it's kind of my regimen. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing videos every 2 days, which I'm doing okay at the moment. So yeah, my promise to anybody watching is that I'm going to try and keep that up. How long that continues, we'll find out in due course. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if you find the fonts big enough, or the audio's okay. Any particular topics you'd like me to kind of look at. I hope that my kind of skill level is good to follow along with, because some of the more advanced YouTube channels are um, almost beyond intermediate, and they really are kind of what I would say expert. But yeah, I would say that I'm still beginner to intermediate at best. So yeah, let's keep learning Rust. I think it's very many aspects of it are difficult, but it's so well documented and so nice to build, and it's I think that the strict typing, although it's difficult at times, it's actually a good thing. Well, we all know it's a good thing, and the memory safety, and yeah, the concurrency and so on. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be back soon.